Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Jessica and this is Unite Inside, and we help people unite with all the parts inside of them. And in this video, this is a part 4 continuation of the series that we've been talking about, the true self, the higher self, and your ego. And let's talk about this more. In this video, I am going to talk about how to not let your ego be in the driver's seat of your life. And why is this very dangerous? If you let your ego be in the driver's seat of your life and take over instead of your soul, instead of who you actually are, your core essence, your connection with your higher self. So let's talk about this. A lot of times in our lives, we literally let our ego be in the driver's seat and take over. And a lot of people, that's what's happening with them. We are just letting our emotions, our mind, our thoughts, our limiting beliefs literally run our life. And this happens a lot because we don't know the difference between us and the ego. We think that we are our ego. And so we start to operate from our ego. And I talked about this a lot in other videos that I made about how to see the difference between you and your ego. And it's very important to see that difference, because if you don't, then you end up in a situation where you are completely out of alignment and you are not living according to your purpose, according to what you are supposed to be doing in this world, which means that your life isn't going to be as fulfilling as you're not going to experience a lot of happiness and passion. And so you are going to find yourself in a situation in your life when you are experiencing traumas, dramas, all of that, and that's the opposite vibration of your source energy, the source that you came from. We came from light, we came from love, we came from passion, we came from excitement. That's what we came from. That's our vibration. We came from a higher frequency. And when you don't operate in that higher frequency, you don't manifest your desires, unfortunately. And so let's do this. How can you finally see that your ego is overdriving, and how can you stop it? So if you want to stop your ego from overdriving, you have to understand that you have to look at yourself as the leader of yourself. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you are the leader of your pack, which is all the parts inside of you. And so you have to become the person that takes the decisions and that takes the actions when it comes to your life. Which means if you have a certain emotion or if you have a certain thought, you have to examine it. You have to look at it and ask yourself, your intuition, okay, is this right for me? Do I have to be thinking this way? Do I have to be feeling this way? Is this emotion coming from my higher self? Is it the right emotion for me to experience and to hold on to? Or is it a trauma? If it's a trauma, I'm not saying that you should push away your emotions and demonize them. I'm saying that you should understand which emotions do you have to identify with and emotions that you shouldn't hold on to and identify with. Which means you don't have to identify with emotions of failure, emotions of sadness, emotions of desperation. You don't have to do that. You can sit with the emotions, you can let them be there and let them express themselves to you, but then you can take a decision, a choice that you are not these emotions. And which means that you're going to continue to feel, you're going to continue to hold certain beliefs about yourself that are maybe not like the beliefs that your ego holds about you. Like, for example, your ego might have beliefs like, I am a failure, I'm a burden, all of that. And it is inside of you and you can feel it. But you don't have to feed those beliefs about yourself, which means you don't have to take action on these beliefs. You don't have to treat yourself as a burden just because you feel like a burden. That's what I mean. You have to separate yourself, who you actually are, which is the awareness, the consciousness, your true self. That's what your true self is. And then from there, start to treat yourself and act and think consciously. Choose your thoughts, is what I mean, from the observer perspective, which means you are the leader. You're not going to let a certain part of you overflow or overtake you, okay? Because you are the one that's gonna choose. So this is gonna be a little bit um hard if you start with it, if you're someone that lets their ego be in the driver's seat, because it's pretty hard, and we have not been training that muscle, which is the muscle of our leadership over all the parts inside of us. So you have to start training yourself. You have to start training yourself that muscle, which means whenever you have a certain thought or a certain behavior that you want to do, ask yourself, is this certain behavior in alignment with my intuition? With what my intuition is telling me? With what my higher self will want me to do. Like, for example, let me give you some behaviors that our ego want to do that are not really in alignment with us. And we can basically ask ourselves, our intuition, our higher self, is this the right thing for us? And then we can choose to either act on those behaviors or to not act on those behaviors. We can start to lower the urges and hold on, like hold back instead of doing those urges or taking action on those urges. Because if someone have been following their ego for so long, it can be very easy to become very unconsciously driven towards doing what your ego wants you to do. It just becomes unconscious, and it becomes almost like a no-brainer. Okay, my ego tells me to do this, I'm just gonna do it. But now I want you to know that there is your higher self, which is basically always guiding you to the right place in your life, and that if you don't listen to it, that's why you go through so much trauma and drama in your life. Examples is, for example, wanting to argue or wanting to fight or wanting to insult someone because you're triggered. So that's basically something that your ego wants to do. In the moment, it feels better for your ego to just react. Oh my God, shut up, or don't do this, or whatever it is, right? And when that happens, or who do you think you are, whatever it is, like getting heated up. But when you do this, you're actually avoiding what your higher self really wants you to do in the moment. When your higher self brings you a person that is triggering you, it doesn't mean that you should fight with this person. It means that there is some type of a trigger that you need to look at, and you need to release, and you need to heal within yourself, because it is about you. It is not about the person. You got triggered. You deep down got triggered, which means that there's something about you that needs to be resolved, regardless of whether that person in your life is doing the right thing or no. Sometimes they are doing the right thing, sometimes they're not, sometimes they are being an asshole. But you have to understand that just because they're an asshole, it doesn't mean that you should be an asshole too. And it doesn't mean that the wisest thing to do is to get into a heated competition with them, because if you do that, you're just gonna look like a fool. Because if they are wrong, then why should you involve yourself in that situation with them? Why should you hurt yourself? You know how that feels when we're arguing with someone. It doesn't work, and it's just all about who's right and who's wrong. And this is not really that wise, and it's not really gonna help you in your spiritual evolution. And another thing you have to understand about this is that you're never gonna heal yourself, and you're always gonna find yourself in the same traumatic and dramatic experiences. You know why? Because you didn't heal them, and so you're gonna have to see them over and over. You have to experience them over and over. That's what the universe does to us, is that whenever we have a certain emotion that we are suppressing, a pain that we don't want to look at about ourselves, the universe brings us a person that triggers that pain so that we can look at it and integrate it. And so it will happen over and over for as long as it takes you to look at it. And so that's why a lot of us are so involved in so much trauma and misery. That's the reason why we don't listen to our intuition. We don't listen to our higher self and what it's actually trying to do. And we follow our ego's ways. Oh, I want to involve myself in this fight, whatever it is. So that's just an example. And another example that I want to tell you about is, I'm just giving you examples here of your ego and what your ego would want you to do. Is, for example, doing something out of desperation, like taking an action because you want to get something in return. Like, for example, working a certain job that you really don't like, but so that you can get money because you're desperate in the moment. So when you go through these moments where you feel like you need to take action on something because you're so desperate, that means that you don't know your worth in that moment. You're not in your God or goddess energy in that moment. You're not rooted in your divinity in that moment. You don't remember who you are in that moment. And so when you take action from a place of desperation, you're already telling the universe, I am not worthy. I am not good enough. When you do this, you actually risk, um, lining up with the opposite of what you want. Because then, when you line up with something that you don't want, it's because you have manifested it because of your energy. You've already told yourself that I am so not good enough that I'm gonna go and work a job that I really hate because of how much I don't think I deserve money. I think this is basically what it's saying. It's saying that I think that I don't deserve to rest and be happy and just receive money. I think that I should effort and work really hard, really really hard, and like do things that I really really don't like just so that I can get money. This mentality of earning it, like, this doesn't exist in the universe. You know why? And I'm seeing 1111 right now, which means that's true. We are already everything that we've always wanted. That's who we are. That's the true vibration of us. Everything that we desire, money, love, experiences, everything that we desire is already out there. It really does not work the way that people think it works in the matrix. And that's why people that work so hard don't get anything. They don't get any money. And people that just feel rich or were rich before get richer and richer. Why do you think that's true? It's because of their vibration. They feel rich and so they get rich and they get more rich. Because they are in that vibration. It's not about your job. It's not about working. It's not about none of that. It's about vibration. That's what it's about. And so you have to become smarter when it comes to this. If you want to avoid misery in your life and avoid trauma and avoid drama, is by actually, like, before you take an action, ask yourself, is this in alignment with my higher self? Is this what the universe would want me to do? And the universe would want you to grow. The universe would want you to go in the direction of what you want. Maybe you're avoiding actually stepping into your full self, your magnetic self, doing what you want to do for a living. Maybe you are ignoring that because of how much you're afraid. You're just afraid. You're so afraid, and you have to face your fears. When you don't face your fears, the universe is going to always put you in situations where you have to face them. And unfortunately, I know it's hard. It's not easy to face our fears, but at least we have to start. We have to stop avoiding. You know, like, if you have an issue with something, if we don't feel confident about something, we have to look at it and think, okay, I'm going to release this. I'm going to find a way to line up with myself in a good way, instead of taking action from a place of desperation. So every time you think about taking action from a place of not alignment, a place that is out of alignment, that's your ego trying to survive in the moment. Your ego is all about survival. Your ego is like, let's do this, let's do that, because it wants to take control. But I want you to understand that you are not in control. You're not in control. Your higher self is in control of you. You're not in control. And so, but you can trust your higher self. You can be surrendering to your higher self and let it guide you because it knows where you're going. Your higher self knows the path of least resistance. It knows everything that you want and everything that you desire. Believe it or not, that's what your higher self's vibration is. It is all about what you desire and what you want, and it knows where to take you, and you have to trust it. When you don't trust it, you sabotage yourself because that is a big part of you that is still a part of you that is guiding you. And when you don't listen, you actually sabotage your own life. You don't have to do this all alone. You never have to do this alone. You are with your higher self. You walk with your higher self. You do everything with your higher self. And so when you don't listen to what your higher self is telling you, surrender, just trust, have faith, do what you love, let go. That's what your higher self is going to want you to do. Don't be desperate. Don't do that, because that is a vibration that because our ego is all about, I need what I want right now. Because If I don't, then I'm not gonna feel worthy. If I don't, then I'm not gonna feel happy. If I don't, then I'm not gonna feel um, fulfilled. But that's not true. You don't have to have what you want right now in this moment urgently for you to know in the deep down that you are worthy. You know, that just means that you still have beliefs about yourself that say, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I'm not this, I'm not that. There's still things that your ego is still holding on to that you need to look at and release. Because once you release them, you're not gonna feel that those urges anymore of I need what I want right now. If you truly believe that you are worthy of something, you're just gonna let it go and let it come to you in any way it wants to come. If you truly believe it deep down in your heart, I am worthy, I'm gonna get what I want, I deserve what I want, it's just gonna come to you. You're gonna be a lot more relaxed. Believe it or not, that's how we act when we know who we are. We are relaxed. We don't rush. We don't need to do something right now. We don't need to manifest what we want in this moment. We can trust that it's going to come at any time it wants to come. And then we can let go and live in this high vibration and be happy and have fun. And when you have fun, when you let go, when you are happy in this moment, when you don't let your ego give you excuses to why you shouldn't be happy, you live in the vibration of what you desire, because then you can give off a vibration of happiness, a vibration of joy, a vibration of freedom to the universe. And then the universe thinks, okay, you have your desires, and it gives them to you because you attract what you are and not what you want or what you don't have or anything like that. You attract who you are. And so when you have joy right now, when you have excitement right now, when you have everything that you desire, fulfillment, everything in your vibration, because you are capable of creating that vibration within you, that vibration of trust. When you truly believe in your heart, you truly believe what's in your heart, you truly let yourself feel the vibration of your higher self. And then when you do that, you let your higher self you give it space to exist within you. When you do that, your higher self starts to give you light and love and power and strength and faith. And you start to feel all that faith, all that love, all that desire, everything. And then when you do that, that gives you strength. And when you let yourself feel that all the time, and you don't let your ego give you excuses to why you shouldn't feel that way, then you line up with what you desire. Because what you're feeling in the moment is you're feeling your alignment with your higher self. You're feeling that vibration that your higher self is already in. And if your higher self is already in that desire, I promise you that your desire is coming. You are already your desire because you are your higher self. And that's what I want you to understand. And so strengthening that muscle of starting to go back to your higher self each time, go back to your intuition, check in up with your intuition each time before you take action on something that your ego wants you to do, because then you are in control. And also because you're letting your higher self be in control too. You're surrendering, you're letting it guide you. And that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be following your higher self and not your ego. Okay? And so when we're not demonizing your ego, I don't want you to fight with your ego. Instead, I want you to be loving to your ego. I want you to be compassionate with your ego. Because that compassion and that love, that's how you're going to tame it. I'm going to tell you why. Because when we give it love, we give it understanding, we can understand what our ego wants, and we can give it what it wants. For example, our ego might be afraid, or it might be scared, or it may be whatever it is, and then you can give it love, you can give it strength, you can give it compassion, and it can integrate with you. You know, you can give those parts of you, which are the layers of your ego. You can integrate them, and that's how you integrate with all the parts inside of you, is by giving yourself that love, giving those parts of you that love. You know, you can actually give it compassion, and then it will come in alignment with you. It will start following you and your higher self very, very easily. You're not going to need to fight it, but you have to become its friend first. Like I said, by letting it be there, letting it express itself to you, and telling it, I'm here for you. But that doesn't mean that you're going to let it be in the driver's seat. Like, that doesn't mean that it's gonna take the decision for you. Actually, when you give it attention and give it love and tell it, okay, everything's gonna be okay, don't worry, I am there for you, then you can be in driver's seat. Then you can be the one that is leading, you know? You can be like, okay, but this is where we need to go. I know that this feels very scary for you, but you can hold yourself and be like, but we're gonna walk through this because we have faith and we know that this is the right thing for us. And so bear with me, I'm with you, I love you, I'll give you everything that you need emotionally, and we're gonna keep going through this path, and then you will see that you'll be fine, that everything is fine, that we will get what we want. Yeah, so this is how you do it, okay? So I hope that you like this video and that you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like, share, and comment. I'll see you in the next video.